and welcome to ClausenWorld. In today's episode, we're going to be doing some planting. So without further ado, let's get into the garden. In my little turquoise container down here, I have some homegrown made compost. Homegrown, that sounds weird, doesn't it? Especially when you're talking about compost. I didn't actually grow it, but I have some homemade compost in here. I have some coconut coir. I have some black cow, and I have some blood and bone meal with a little bit of plant tone. There you go. I always forget about the plant tone. And I'm just kind of giving it a mix up. Now, the black cow is very clumpy. So I'm just trying to mix this up well so that all the good nutrients is mixed up for when we place it in the bag. And I'll show you what bag I'm talking about. Here we are at the bag I was telling you guys about. Now this was a part of a haul video that I made, and if you have not seen that video, I recommend you go and take a look at it. I went to Lowe's, Walmart, and the Dollar Tree, and I found a couple of garden bags at the Dollar Tree, so I picked up a couple of them. This is a jumbo garden bag. So I am going to place this bag over here by the fence, and I am going to grow my sweet potato slips in them. So what I've done is I've placed some brown and a couple of green leaves in the bottom of this bag. Let me show you the bag. It has handles on it. It's not a very big bag. And I'm going to fill the rest of this bag up with soil. Now, I just told you guys that I had a couple of amendments in here and I had some soil, but after I was mixing it up, I realized, no, I put a few more things in this bucket. I have some garden soil that I picked up from Lowe's. You all have seen the yellow bag. It's a yellow bag of garden soil that I got from Lowe's. I have my coconut coir. I have my black cow. I have some perlite, some vermiculite. I have some plant tone. I have some bone meal and some blood meal inside of this turquoise bucket. So I'm going to fill that up, and then we're going to get planted. So let's see. I'm excited about planting these sweet potato slips. It's been a long time since I've planted sweet potatoes. I haven't planted any sweet potatoes since 2012. And so this will be hopefully a better harvest than that one. I realized that I made a mistake by letting the vines take over. And the plant itself was too busy worrying about making vines instead of making the tubers. So this time, I am going to do my best to keep those vines managed and cut down, trimmed back rather, and then I will use those because you can actually eat those, and I just realized that because I was watching two other YouTube videos. I never thought to actually look up any information on that, but now I know. And so I have placed the soil inside of the bag. Can you guys see that? Now I think I'm going to put some more soil in here to fill this bag up a little bit more, because it only feels like it's halfway full because those leaves have now depressed down into the bag. So I'm going to get some more soil, just plain old coconut coir and maybe a tiny bit of garden soil, maybe like a 50-50 mix. I'm going to put that in here. I'm not going to put any more amendments in it, and then I'm going to start planting. So let's get some more soil, shall we? Okay, so I have the soil and coconut coir mixed up in my handy dandy turquoise bucket, and I'm just going to pour it in. I didn't put any amendments in here. There's only what's in that garden soil is what's in this bucket. Sorry about that. I felt like I had a sneeze coming on, and I did not want to blow y'all's ears up by sneezing. It's that time of the season where the garden makes me sneeze. There we go. And so I am just pouring. I cannot stop sneezing. I do apologize for that. My goodness. There we go. Let's try this again. So I am just trying to gently pour this inside the bag and not onto the ground. I am not the most delicate. I think I've told you guys before, very heavy-handed person right here. And so, don't always get it right the first time around. I've mentioned before that this is a real and honest channel, and I'm just going to show you exactly how it unfolds. I'm not trying to make it out to be perfect and only show you the edited cuts. This is real. Oh, I do have bloopers. I do apologize for sniffing or sounding congested. It's just that time of year for me. So I'm just going to give this just a tiny bit of a toss and try to keep it inside the bag. Just tossing it around just to make sure that that garden soil and that coconut coir is actually mixed. You guys see that? All right. Sometimes at the bottom it doesn't mix well inside of my bucket, but it seems to be doing okay. All right, now let me bend down so you guys can see me. I have my slips right here. I grew these in the house from a store-bought purple skinned sweet potato. Now I'm looking around because last year there were 2 bull snakes in this area, and I just want to make sure that nothing's creeping up on me. All right. Isn't that nice? Look at those beautiful roots. Look at all that. Nice. I'm just amazed. When I first tried to grow sweet potatoes, I didn't know anything about it. I don't know why I didn't think about it, but I didn't even do any research. I just was like, okay, let me just grow some potatoes, put them outside. Lo and behold, they're not like growing russet potatoes or Yukon potatoes. They are very different, and now I know that you actually have to grow them from slip versus trying to just chuck a potato in the ground. All right, let's see. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, a little tangled here, 5. This looks like 6, 7, and 8 that are all together. It didn't. It's just one piece. So I'm gonna tease this apart because I don't want it to be one piece. There we go. And this is probably way too many slips to put in this bag. And I have 2 more down here. So I have 10 slips. So that's probably way too many to put in this bag. Make sure I didn't drop any on the ground. So I'm just going to place these little bitty ones right in the center, and I'm going to place the longer ones towards the edge. And I'm going to angle it towards the fence. That way, when it does get a little bit taller and they grow up, they will catch the fence a little bit, but I'm not going to let it get out of control like I did the last time where it was on the fence and it was on the ground. It was just everywhere. It was just a mass of potato vines, and it spent more time trying to make vines than make me potatoes. And I was excited. I thought, ooh, I'm going to have so many potatoes in that bag. Nope. I had more vines than anything. So all I'm doing is making a hole. I'm making a hole and placing these slips in there as gently as I can. And I will find out whether or not I will need to adjust this by putting them in another bag and breaking it up, or this will be fine. But for right now, I'm going to put this all in one bag, and then I'll adjust as time goes on. It would be nice if just this bag was all I needed, because I actually still have a potato in the actually it was one potato that dropped. I dropped it trying to transfer it into a different container, and it broke into two pieces. So I still have that potato in the house, and it's still giving me slips. So I would like to use the second bag that I bought just like this to put those slips in when it gets to that time. But we'll see how it goes. Let's see, I've got room to put this little bitty, this beauty little baby right here. Just put him right here. All right. And I am going to water this in really good. I have to water the garden anyway. We got a tiny bit of rain last night. Not enough to shake a stick at as far as I'm concerned. But that's what we got. We're due to have more, but up until then, and that's later on in the week, I think, and that's never a guarantee. So up until then, I'm gonna water. I'm gonna show you all what this looks like. Let me pour this water in here. I don't want to waste water. Water is a precious resource. All right, well, you guys can see it. Look at that. But let you guys get close in here. Whew. My knee is aching today. My goodness, couldn't get up. You all didn't see that, did you? Oh, all right, let me move you all in closer so that you can see. Can you guys see that? Look at that. Isn't that pretty? I hope you guys can see that well. All right, let's move on to the next task in the garden, shall we? I decided to rough chop up some leaves that I collected from the last fall, and I'm going to place these leaves on the top of this soil mixture so that it can stay a little moist, and that way the plants will have a little more moisture as it begins to heat up. And I'm just taking a handful and just mixing them on the top of the soil, just like that. Now I think I may have to go and chop up a few more because I don't feel like I have enough, and I ran out in the bucket. So let's see if I can spread them around a little bit, but not too, leave them too thinly. Don't want to put too many, just enough. Well, no, this might work. I just had to spread them out a little bit. Right. All right, here we are. And there we are, the finished product, the sweet potato bag. So let me move on to the next project of making sure that everything in the garden gets a nice drink of water. And there are a couple of areas that I missed yesterday. One of them is my pea and strawberry container, and the squirrels got into it. Stupid squirrels. And I'm going to try to do this with one hand, and then I'm going to put some of my powder on it to keep the squirrels away. Now, we talked about that powder yesterday, and if you watched my video yesterday, you'll know what I call it. So in order to know what I call this powder that I'm getting ready to spread on this bag of sweet potatoes, I need for you to go and watch my video from yesterday. And I make it up in the kitchen. I'm just giving this a good drink of water. Sorry about that. I hope you guys can see that. Just giving it a really good drink of water. Just like so. Alright. I'm going to get my special squirrel deterrent powder. And I am going to sprinkle this on the top. Just like so. And I'm also going to sprinkle it around the bag. Because they can smell. They know better. Alright, that is my sweet potatoes. Rained just a little bit last night, so I'm just doing a little bit of spot watering. I can see that at least one of these onions is starting to bolt. So it is not happy either with the water or with the heat. Because it's been relatively warm outside. The past couple of days, it's been chilly. So something's happening. It's not liking one of the two things. Either it's the watering or it is the weather. And to be honest, I think it's both. I water this almost every day and it just doesn't seem to be enough. Alright, I'm not going to bother you or bore you with my watering. So I'm going to move on to the next task in the garden. The chilly weather is good for some of the plants. You remember this carrot from the other day? It was laying all over looking just so pathetic. And now look at it. Let me show you from this angle. Look at this thing. It's still a little bit warm. As I toss it around a little bit, I can feel inside that the soil is a bit warm, but it has perked up. It is perked up. So it prefers a cooler climate, and the climate that I have is not the best climate right now for carrots. I'm just giving them a little bit of water. They don't need much over here. I'm just going to test the soil and the pepper, and that's moist down there, so I'm not going to water that. I don't want to overdo it. I can be pretty heavy-handed, so I'm just going to leave it alone. I'm going to moisten the soil on everything that I have just planted to make sure that that soil is moist. And make sure that my seedlings have enough moisture. And outside of that, let's see what else we need to do in the garden. Peanut bag that I planted the other day, and I'm going to try with one hand to give the peanuts some water without exposing them. Let's see if I can give them some water. I want to keep this soil as moist as I can while they're trying to do what they do up under the soil. This is the next pot of potatoes that will need to be harvested here in the next couple of weeks. I'm going to give my seedlings that can you guys see that? I don't know if you guys can see that. My bucket was in the way. I planted some some hummingbird seeds in that pot a couple of days ago. So I'm just giving my seedlings a little bit of water. And let's see if I have some more seedlings to give some you guys a quick peek of my bean, pea, corn, and squash bed. I'm just giving it a little bit of water to go, and I almost forgot there are cucumbers all the way back in there. Let's see, that right there, that is the gherkin, and come on, move out the way. And that right there, that is the lemon cucumber. Of course, this is corn. I've got peas coming up nicely, coming down next to the corn, and I have it all flanked by beans. Now I know you're not supposed to overhead water your beans, but yeah, I try to spray the underside to make sure that nothing's hanging on, and then I spray the top, and then I move on. Now remember I planted some beans the other day? Look at that. And I don't even remember, that might end up being I don't know if that's a weed or not, but I'm going to leave it. That's the bean. I think that might be the northern beans that I planted. Look at that. Look at that coming up. Isn't that lovely? Yeah, I think that's the northern bean because that looks like it has a white kind of on it right there. These are the purple string beans that I planted. You can see it's got purple there. Isn't it beautiful? So I've got a mixture of beans here, and I've got squash coming up quite nicely. Spaghetti squash, my red kiwi squash, and I want to say butternut squash. And that's about it. I've got some more beans down there. So I'm going to finish this up, and I'll move on to the next task in the garden. I'm going to try to give this weed a little pull. It is spreading out a little bit too much for me, and I only want a little bit of this weed, but it's got a lot going on. So I'm going to pull some of this weed out and give the squash a little bit more room to move around. So that's got to come out. Let's see what we can. Right. It had to go. It was spreading a little bit too much, and I don't want it to take over my beans or my squash. So yeah, I had to sacrifice that weed. It looked like a wild fern. There's still some of it here, just not as much. So I'm gonna prop up my bean because, like I said, it was doing a whole lot, and I didn't want it to take over and mess up my beans. You can actually see the beans now. You've got one here and a much larger one here. So I'm going to actually stake this up because I don't want it laying on the ground. And we'll see what else comes up, because I did put down some chickpeas. Was it? No, not chickpea. It was lentil. And I haven't seen any lentils popping up yet, so we'll see what happens. All right, on to the next task. I also planted some hummingbird seedlings, so I am just going to give this baby some water as well. There we go. Well, it's already spilling out the back, so no good. That means that soil continues to be dry. Let's take a finger test and see what's going on in there. Nope, it is really moist. Okay. I'm going to leave him alone. But that is my watering. And I think I'm done for the day. I'm just going to scoot around in the garden and see if there's anything else that needs to be watered. And then I'm going to call it an evening. So until tomorrow, happy gardening, everybody.